We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love Q.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it. Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called
Wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning.
morning to you on this World Food Day. It is October 16th, and we are beyond pleased to have you joining us for another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines, and I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning. So it's World Food Day, like I told you, and we'll be exploring what that means. And of course, some of our guests are going to be talking a little bit more about what the observance means and how we can get in line. For those of you old enough to remember, for World Food Day here in Barbados, Carmita Fraser, she used to be the person who would say, put food first. And so there's lots to talk about and lots to remember. Of course, there's much talk these days around food security. There are new sustainable development goals to move us toward 2025, reducing our food import bill and the like. Hopefully, we'll be able to get through some of that today. We must apologize to you for starting the show almost half hour into the scheduled start. We do apologize for that challenge this morning. We know that you're looking forward each day at 6 a.m. to tune in for Morning Barbados. But we wanted to start today by telling you all about some amazing work being done at the St. Leonard's Boys School. And for that reason, we have joining us this morning, some members of the Old Scholars Association. And they're here to share more about what we can expect as a major celebration is on the horizon for the St. Leonard's Boys School. Ricardo Harrison is the president of the St. Leonard's Old Scholars Association. Good morning to you, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, ma'am. Welcome. Good morning, Barbados.
And it's good to have Michael Ford with us. He's treasurer of the St. Leonard's Old Scholars Association. He's the guy controlling the purse strings. So all the money. Good morning. Good to have you gentlemen here with us so early. Now, there's a week of activities coming up for the Old Scholars Association. Before we delve into exactly what we can expect, tell us about the association, how long you've been around, and the work that you do.
Well, the association, Tisha, has been around since the mid-70s, I should say. And we have been, like, fathering the school, to use that term. We give generous donations. The last one we would have made, the last significant one we would have made was when they had the heat wave in Barbados. We donated some 12 fans to the school. We've also had, we have a scholarship fund where we contribute to boys who are, less than fortunate. And we have made at least 2 presentations so far to the school. And there are other activities that when the school calls upon us, we are there to assist. Sometimes when the school is, it may be what you say, in an upheaval, they call in us, the old scholars, to talk to the youngsters and to explain to them and to mentor them more or less. So we've been always close to the school in terms of its activities, and then it has its challenges as well.
I mean, what does that mean to you, Mr. Ford, to be able to engage with students in that manner, being a past student of the school?
Well, it'll be a pleasure of mine. I was going to school to try to mentor the young ones that are coming up, because we find this generation of today, we need to mentor the youth. And what we also do when it comes to every end of the term, we go and visit the school, try to mentor them. And anyone's that, like I'm self-employed and who are interested in know their business, to open their own business, we go to mentor them along that line so they could be developed themselves.
How have things changed through the years, Mr. Harrison, in terms of the school, from the plant to...
Well, the plant has changed.
Everything.
The most significant change we've had, Tisha, would when the girls left us. And we still have girls in the Old Scholars.
So you were at the school when the girls left?
I was at the school.
So would it be okay for me to say that it was probably your fault?
Maybe. but we missed them, and the girls at the time formed an integral part of the whole complex. They were on one side and we were on the other side. It was like a demilitarized zone though, because we couldn't go over to the girls' side and the girls couldn't come over to the boys' side.
Pretty much what it is right now.
Yeah. What we used to do, we used to meet in the library, which was common ground. But yeah,
that's a really great way to get boys in the library.
Yeah, but it has changed, because when I went to St. Leonard's, we had a 3-shift system. That they had an early morning system for the average guys, then the whole day system for the bright guys, and then the evening system for the not so bright guys. And that was in the 70s, but that has changed now. It's one
Well, thank goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, in terms of separating. What about your experiences as a St. Leonard schoolboy?
Yeah, I had a similar experience too, because I was around his time too. And
so you used to go in the library to meet up with girls?
well, I used to ease over on the pasture at lunchtime. But it was good in those days, seeing the school. But no, everything has been changed. It's one school, and all boys there now. So it's a whole range of difference.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, how has the association been going? Do you have a big membership?
Well, I would use the word, we had a big membership, but certainly in the 80s and the late and the early 90s, we had a membership in the region of 165. But, Tisha, as you would expect, with all these challenges with competitions, the cell phone, the television, the smartphone, everything else, the membership has fallen off. Added to the fact, too, that the membership is getting less than young. I don't want to say old, but they're getting less than young. And one of the things that I think we have suffered from is the fact that the girls' school is no longer around. And you know that girls pull boys. So we have the challenge that there are no girls coming out of the school. So we have to depend on the girls who would have left in 1997. And they trying to encourage the younger boys. We do interact with them, but as you might know, it is difficult to get young men in any organization nowadays, be it the AYPA, be it the Boy Scouts, be it the cadets, you know. So that is one of the challenges that we face. And yes, the membership has dropped off significantly.
Yeah. All right, I guess you have to move to maybe bring some of the younger students leaving the school into the fold of the Old Scholars Association as well. Talk to me now about your plans for your week of celebration.
We call it a season of activities. We started on September 29th. We had a karaoke and lime at a popular bar, which went pretty well. Then we incorporated a show called The Best of Romancia, which formed part of our that was on the 5th of October, part of our celebrations as well. And that was a beautiful show, I might add. And we're going to have on the 3rd of November a church service at the Orange Hill Church of God. This starts at 9 in the morning. After the service is completed, we're going to have some brunch at a nearby restaurant. Following that, on the 16th of November, we're going to have a lecture discussion talk on alternative medicine, fact or fiction. And we wrap up the week with what we call our signature event, Bajan Night. Now, Bajan Night is a night where we do all things Bajan. Bajan food, fish cakes, bakes, conkeys, pudding, pone, morbi, lemonade, Bajan rum. And then we do some skits, or we do some karaoke. The karaoke we would sing mainly Bajan songs, or we will try to sing, I should say, mainly Bajan songs. And that would culminate our week of activity, our season of activities, I should say.
Oh, I love it. Seasonal activities. And, you know, just love the names. My next business venture is going to be called A Popular Bar. I love that. It was held at a popular bar. So that definitely should be the name. For these week of activities, do you only encourage the old scholars to come out, or is it open to just about anyone?
No, it's open to others. And we also invite other Old Scholars associations. And one of the ones that we can mention off the top of my head is Spring Old Scholars. Yeah, there's
I can see why you do that.
We've had a long, beautiful relationship with Springer because we are two interesting dynamics. We have we're the only boys and they're the only girls, and it has been so for quite a while. Schools, schools, yes. Yeah, as Michael said, we have invited the Springer, the Grantley Adams, the Ellerslie, the Frederick Smith, the Cordian Prairie, Alexandra, and indeed the Modern Old Scholars Association.
Well, you should have invited Lester Vaughan. A lot of the St. Leonard's Girls' School girls went up to Lester Vaughan. How about that?
We have to have this discussion off camera. But yes, we have had an outreach from the Leicester Vaughan School, and we are working on building that bridge with the Leicester Vaughan School. But they have not been left out.
All right, good stuff. Mr. Ford, what do you want people to know about particularly younger boys who have come out of the school in recent times? We know that you have many success stories to share about the St. Leonard's Boys alum. So for them, how can they reach out to you and be a part of all of the fantastic work you're doing for the association and for students of the school?
Yeah, well, what we do then, coming to the end of the term, we go to the headmaster and have a meeting and set up, and then what we do, he give us a day, and we go and talk to the students before they leave. And during the course of that time, we try to invite them to join the Old Scars, because we really need some youth in the Old Scars to keep it brave and strong and vibrant as we had it and have it, as to say. So in that case is what we do to try to get them to join. And we have one to them too. We try to push it's only their own business. That's one of the key things we try to.
So you push entrepreneurship?
Entrepreneurship, yes. So we mentor them along that line. All those was interesting. And it comes off very good at things.
Final message from the old scholars, particularly to those ones who might not be as active as they should be at this stage, getting out and reminiscing with you guys and working toward helping the school generally.
We would like as many of them to, first of all, to come out to the church service and share some fun and fellowship. And then the Beijing Night. The Beijing Night has been our signature activity for many years, and we would like to see those who have taken a back seat or taken a rest, at least to come up for this Beijing Night. The school T-shirt is celebrating some 72 years, and it would be good to have those members who would have, to come out and enjoy. And coming up from the point that Michael made, we usually have a career showcase at the school, and those scholars who would have made it in business and whatever career, they display their intellectual wares to the schoolboys. The military, the police, and those fellas who would have gone to St. Leonard's and have come through. So that is one of the activities we have planned, but not for this year, certainly early in the next year, a career showcase.
All right, so I have 3 St. Leonard's schoolboys, now former St. Leonard's schoolboys, in my arsenal, 3 nephews, so I understand you need to kind of bring some new boys along.
That's right.
And how important also it is to show the ones that are there the successes and share with them and mentor them as we go along.
That's a lovely question. St. Leonard's through the years has been seen as a school for not successful, but
by whom?
By general public. Let's be real. St. Leonard's,
I don't think so.
You used to be here.
I can rattle off quite a few names.
But I'm saying to you, that in former times, it used to be the school that you didn't want your children to go to.
Okay.
That has changed because there have been a lot of successful persons coming through the ranks of the school. For example, we have a judge who went to St. Leonard's. We have a number of lawyers who went to St. Leonard's, a number of senior policemen who went to St. Leonard's.
Successful sportsmen, successful businessmen,
plenty
successful
sportsmen,
musicians.
Many. And now you mention the word musician. St. Leonard's has always been known for its musical talent. We have the late Richard Stout, we have the most honorable Anthony Carter, and the mighty Destroyer.
You just negated everything you said.
I said that in former times we had that reputation. Okay. But now, when you see the talent that emanates from St. Leonard's, then that has changed somewhat.
Yeah, well, we're of a different generation, and for my generation, we always saw the talent that came out of St. Leonard's School, and I most certainly have always respected the work that the teachers and other supporters of the school have been able to do. So I wish you the very best for your season of activities.
Before you go, let me mention a female singer, Margaret Vell. So that women wouldn't claw. Margaret Vell is a St. Leonard's girl who was a very excellent singer in Barbados. Yes, and thank you.
Well,
again.
there are quite a few. Rosemary Allen, who was Director of Broadcast Services here
Yes.
at CBC, was a St. Leonard School girl as well. And we can go on and on and on and on.
Right.
That's true.
Maybe I have more connections with St. Leonard School than you know.
Yeah,
That's
so-
wonderful.
it looks
Excellent. So you can encourage some youngsters and young fellas to come and join the association.
I
Sort of
will.
build it up, you know.
Yeah. Now he wants to talk. Now it's time to wrap the interview. That's okay, but it's been wonderful having both of you here, and I look forward to hearing about this Bajan night at Brown's Beach. Sounds like it's going to be lots and lots of fun. Everything Bajan, including Bajan songs they'll be performing. So make sure you go on out and enjoy that. And they're inviting the girls to come out too. How about that? Thank you both. Ricardo Harrison, the president of the St. Leonard's Old Scholars Association, and Mr. Michael Ford, treasurer of the St. Leonard's Old Scholars Association, coming out this morning to talk about their season of activities. They're too good for just a week. All right, time for a break here on Morning Barbados, but we have lots more coming up, so do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? I need.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living?
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Barbados has had a long, very successful relationship with Canada throughout the years, from trade to culture and everything in between. Quite recently, we saw the new High Commissioner of Canada to Barbados present her credentials to the President of Barbados, and she's here this morning, I jokingly say, to present her credentials to the Barbadian public and to the Morning Barbados viewers. So let's say good morning to Her Excellency Brenda Wills, High Commissioner of Barbados, High Commissioner of Canada to Barbados. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's wonderful to have you here, not only at Morning Barbados, but most certainly in Barbados. You've only been here for a month, so initial impression.
Initial impressions are fabulous. The Barbadians are so warm and welcoming. We've already made friends. I have a family, 2 children and a husband, and we're already enjoying the beaches. We've got our long list of things we want to visit in Barbados, but it's going to take some time. We're just getting settled in, but it's been a very easy transition thanks to the warmth of the people here.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, exactly.
It's a little warmer than we're accustomed to these days, but I'm sure you're enjoying that as well. I started by mentioning the long relationship that we have had with Canada, and I would imagine that your role here is to continue to deepen and strengthen that relationship.
Absolutely. And last week when I presented my credentials to the President of Barbados, Her Excellency, the Most Honorable Dame Sandra Mason, she pointed out to me that, in fact, we had boots on the ground with our Trade Commissioner service in 1907. I was discussing with her how we were one of the first countries to recognize Barbados' independence in 1966, but she corrected me that we've been here a lot longer. And I actually have a trade background, trade and investment background, so I am looking forward to building those ties even further, but they're already very strong. Very strong. We have a large presence of Canadian companies. You'd see our banks here in Barbados, and also I think this is our 6th largest foreign direct investment destination. But there's always room to do more and to increase two-way trade.
Absolutely. With a background in trade, I can see why, that is top of the list for you. In terms of other areas, Canada is such a big space as compared to Barbados. What are some of the other areas that you might be looking at throughout your tenure to be able to form linkages or grow particular areas?
Certainly. So we share a lot of priorities. I also had the opportunity to meet with Prime Minister Motley last week, where we discussed some of these areas. So that includes continuing work on the Canada-CARICOM strategic partnership, working on inclusive governance, sustainable and inclusive economies, also working towards the Sustainable Development Goals. Both Prime Minister Motley and Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada, they co-chair the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Advocates Group, and so they are working together with others to promote the importance of the SDGs and accelerating work towards achieving them. So climate resilience is another area of cooperation. So we'll be doing a lot bilaterally, but also through that Canada-CARICOM strategic partnership.
Absolutely. I recall that the last time we saw Prime Minister Motley and Prime Minister Trudeau on the same stage, it was really talking about climate resilience and climate change and working through the Bridgetown Initiative and other things of that nature. We know another area that we often look to strengthen is in the area of culture, which is something that's very, very near and dear to our hearts here in Barbados. So any plans in the works? We have some favorite Canadian artists and acts, but we're always interested in new people as well.
Absolutely. The cultural ties, I understand we had a Canadian Film Day that we did in partnership with the Barbados Independent Film Festival, so we can continue that sort of collaboration. I'm still learning about Bajan artists here, musicians. I'm excited to learn more about the local grown talent. But yes, happy to continue with those cultural ties, and I think those also extend into education. We host a lot of Barbadian students in Canada. I'd like to see that continue, and in fact this weekend at the Lloyd Erskine Center. Exactly. There's a fair, a student fair, and I'll be popping in there as well. But I'll have High Commission staff there, as well as over 30 educational institutions. So for any young students that want, or old students, we take everybody, want to come study in Canada, we would welcome your attendance at that fair. And of course, bringing those skills back to Barbados is a priority. We also have the Canada Caribbean Seasonal Agricultural Workers Program. So we have those ties, and then folks come back and can contribute to the agriculture sector here. So not so much cultural, but there's just, the list goes on and on about the ties that we share with Barbados.
Absolutely, there's lots to talk about. As you mentioned, agriculture to education and everything in between. For you personally, getting ready to come here to Barbados, it's a major thing, even if you're in the foreign service. I'd know to kind of pack up your family and go somewhere else. So based on your research, what are you looking forward to most during your tenure here in Barbados as a newly minted semi Bajan?
Well, my mandate will be 4 years, so I think that's going to allow me sufficient
Okay, so I
time
take the semi out.
to become very familiar with this beautiful country. I want to take advantage of the ocean. I find it soothing for the soul, and as Bajans say, enjoying a sea bath. So we've been heading to the beach frequently. The kids are learning to boogie board. Maybe that will graduate to surfing. I'd like to go sailing. I'd like to go fishing. I'd like to take advantage of everything that Barbados has to offer. Visit the caves, hike. I like the outdoors, so really looking forward to exploring every inch.
All right, that is definitely some beautiful stuff. And throughout the 4 years, I'm sure you'll find lots and lots to do here in Barbados. What do you want the Barbadian public to know generally, if you had to summarize, all these years, the relationship, all the areas that we can still explore and must explore, and you will never get through in the next 4 years? What do you want Barbadian viewers to know about how Canada feels about this relationship with not only Barbados, but the Caribbean region?
So with Barbados, it's a very important relationship. We have shared priorities. The country is an influential leader within CARICOM. We're working together also on regional security and commend Barbados on the collaboration we're doing in Haiti. The Caribbean is an important area. It's our backyard in a way. We know we're hemispheric neighbors, and we see what Barbados is doing in terms of pushing globally for climate action. And as I said, the list goes on where we collaborate. But Barbados is a very important partner for Canada, not just in the Caribbean, but also globally as we work towards enhancing the multilateral system and international rules-based order. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to be here to continue the good work of my predecessors and continue to build close ties with Barbados.
Wonderful stuff. And for those other Canadian Bajans who are looking forward to all of the other activities that will go along with your tenure here, a message for them?
Well, I look forward to meeting them. The island is small. I find I don't walk very far, and I run into somebody with some connection with Canada, whether they've studied there, whether they have family there, they've traveled there recently. We, of course, have Canadian tourists that come here and then love it so much they elect to stay. So I would say I'm here to deepen those ties. I'm excited to meet the Canadians on the island. I'm excited to meet Barbadians that come back from Canada and take their advice, too, on what we could be doing more together.
Are there any areas of improvement that you'd like to see throughout this tenure once you're here? There are always areas that we can improve upon.
I think working together to address some of the concerning activities in the world, and Prime Minister Motley's speech at the UN highlighted a lot of these. So I do see some of our increased work in the multilateral sphere. Not to say that we need room for improvement, but I just think more collaboration is needed so that we can work towards peace and stability.
All right, well, welcome to Barbados. You certainly have brought a very welcoming first impression.
Great.
And we're happy to have you here with us for the next 4 years, and we look forward to building on all of those areas. And certainly here at CBC and in the media, we are ready and willing to be able to work with you to continue to bridge those ties.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. How about that? Our official introduction to Her Excellency Brenda Wills. Brenda is definitely a very, maybe older Bajan name.
In Canada,
but
too.
I know maybe no Bajan ties as yet, but Brenda is one of those names we're accustomed to. I know a few Brendas, and then there are some Wills here in Barbados as well, so maybe you'll be able to connect with them, and who knows, possibly some ties there too.
Thank you.
All right, so it's been wonderful to have the High Commissioner of Canada to Barbados in with us today, just here for 1 month, but we can expect to see a whole lot more of her. And on that note, a special good morning to the entire team there, taking care of business while you're here with us.
Thank you very much.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but stay with us. It's World Food Day, so we're having some interesting conversations on the way forward. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game with Domino's and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's time now for an update of the news on this Wednesday, October 16th. Barbados has lost one of its most outstanding legal minds and astute politicians in Sir Henry Ford. He died yesterday afternoon at the age of 91. The Barbados Labour Party's stalwart served as the leader of the opposition from 1986 to 1989 and from 1991 to 1993. He also served as the Attorney General from 1976 to 1981. Sir Henry was born on the 20th of March, 1933 in Water Street, Christchurch, to a working-class family. He attended Christchurch Boys Foundation School and later attended Christ's College, Cambridge University, for his law degree and was admitted to the British and Barbadian bars in 1959. He first won the Christchurch West seat in 1971 and held it for 30 years until 2003. Sir Henry chaired the Constitution Review Commission in 1996, which reviewed the Constitution of Barbados in regards to preparing for Barbados becoming a republic. Sir Henry Ford is also known as a champion of women's rights. He successfully proposed the establishment of a national commission on the status of women. Sir Henry Ford was also an integral member of the government that championed and passed a seminal piece of legislation, the Territory Freehold Purchase Act. Well, here he is speaking in Parliament, and of course that was back in 2001.
Barbados, not only in the constituency I represent, but in this constituency of the Honourable Member for St. John. Look at the tenantry, sir. Look at the improvement that we are making in the infrastructure in Barbados. I lived in St. John now, sir, for 15, going to 16 years. And I see the improvement that has resulted from the foresight of the Barbados Labour Party in passing the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act, allowing the people living right in my village to purchase their land at 10 cents a square foot. Where else in the world, where else in the Caribbean, where else in the developed countries, I ask, can you find someone whom the government, by legislation, has permitted to purchase their land, still in this day and age, at 10 cents a square foot, 5 US cents? It is still happening, part of the statute law of this country, sir.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mia Amor-Maudsley says she has lost a dear friend, a mentor, legal advisor and tutor, while the country has lost a man of unmatched intellect and one who always put others and country above self. She says the passing of Sir Henry at the age of 91 years carries us close to the end of an era. According to her, his record of service and legacy paint a picture of a man whose commitment to the Barbados Labour Party can never be questioned. Yet, she says, he could never be accused of putting party before country. Ms. Maudsley says, as is the custom for Barbadians who have served as members of Parliament, Sir Henry will be accorded an official funeral, the details of which will be announced after consultations with his family. And that's our update of news at this time. We bring you a full news package at 12 noon here on TV8. And we also update the news at 1 p.m. on our radio services, 98.1 The One, 94.7 FM, and 100.7 FM. Stay tuned to the stations of the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but we'll be right back as we continue our discussions on World Food Day. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados. It's time for us to delve into everything that happened at the just concluded Human Resources Management of Association of Barbados Big Tech Expo, Human Tech, that happened just last week. Nicholas Roberts is president of HERMAB. Always good to have you with us, Nicholas.
Thanks for having me, as always.
So congratulations on a highly successful, presentation. From all reports, there was much ground to be covered, and you were able to get through a lot of it. Your general thoughts on the expo?
I was pleasantly surprised. As our treasurer said on day 2, we were not sure this year if we were going to have the conference this year. 3 weeks out, I was overseas on vacation. I was calling on business calls with the team just to make sure and checking on how everything was going. And at that point in time, we weren't too sure if things were going, because things weren't coming together. But all in all, we got there. And I was happy to see that over the 2 days, it was a labor of love for everyone, not just me and my entire team, in terms of the conference coming off, in terms of the speakers coming in, the attendees enjoying everything, the expo coming off. So it was really, really 2 days of insightfulness and great information for all parties.
One of the things that propelled you to the front pages, literally, of the press and certainly in the news was a presentation that you made at the conference about how important it is for workplaces to create a welcoming, safe, and non-toxic environment for their employees.
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised in terms of the traction that article got, but I think it hit home for so many people in terms of it rang through in terms of what is going on within our business places, in terms of the practices. As I would have mentioned, I wasn't calling out one particular person. I put the call out in terms of everyone, because I mentioned in terms of how the responsibilities leaders have, the responsibilities employees have, and then us as HR practitioners, what we have to do in terms of stewarding the culture within organizations to make sure that, we stamp out the negativity and the toxicity within environments. So I was, like I said, pleasantly surprised to see the traction that article and the comments that I made gained.
And I always say, you know, if you have a highly successful event, a highly successful conference, if you're able to move forward with some action points that can work. So coming out of that, you're moving forward with the theme, the future of work is now, lessons learned from the Human Tech Expo. So let's talk about that and share what's next.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things, I was talking to one of our trustees, shout out to Dr. Sobers, Dr. Hensley Sobers, he's one of our trustees at HERMAB, and one of the biggest things for him is how do we take this forward? Because for any conference or any webinar or seminar, people attend, they take away nuggets, and then what happens? So for us, the next steps are implementation. So next steps for HERMAB is working with the various entities and business houses that attended, because we had HR teams from various business. I don't want to start calling out names because they may leave out some, but we had over 150 attendees to show you how much persons were there. So it is to work with various business houses, like I mentioned, various HR practitioners, various HR leaders to put what we learned into play. One of my messages that I wanted to ring through is that I don't want us to put our heads in the sand in terms of what is happening when it comes to technology. Technology frightens people, it makes people scared in terms of it coming into the workplace, and people being afraid that they're going to become obsolete, whether it be to a bot, whether it be to some piece of technology. And I want people to know that we as people, we can never be replaced. But how do we work in tandem? And that will be my message until whenever. How can we work in tandem with the technology to make our businesses efficient, make our lives more efficient as well? So next steps for us is, like I said, is to implement, not just to take away the beautiful words and the beautiful lessons and stories and business practices that we took from the conference, but how can we actually put it into play to make it make sense within a Barbadian context and to make sure that people are not left behind.
What are you going to do to make sure that the companies, the businesses on the fringes, not necessarily the larger organizations who can afford maybe a membership to HERMAB or can come out to these conferences, that they're on board with it? Because it's of equal importance for us to be able to move forward with all the things that you talked about for small businesses and small business people to get in line as well.
So one step I think for us is to meet people where they're at. Many people are on, I mentioned last time I was on that I'm a change practitioner. On the change journey, many different people are on the continuum in different places. So you need to understand where people are at. Some people are ready for the change, some people don't even know the change is coming, and some people are ready and willing to get going. So we need to understand where these persons are at, and we're going to start off, like I said, by reaching out to various stakeholders, understanding what it is they took away from the conference, how it is that we can roll it out, and go from there in terms of an action plan. So I think Dr. Sobers mentioned, we as HERMAB, it is a huge task to say that we only will be the ones responsible for the implementation. I think we also need to put the onus on the various businesses, because when the HR practitioners and the business leaders go back into their businesses, they have to be responsible for rolling out what it is that they took away from the conference. And if it is that they need to work with us in terms of, how do we fine tune in terms of rolling out a piece of software, or how do we get our people ready for any type of change that is coming when it comes to AI and technology, and they need to lean on our expertise, that is, no problem. But I think we also need to put the onus on those various business places to say, this is how it is we're moving forward in this regard.
Absolutely. I know there are many topics that you would have gone through over the 2 days. However, one of the things that's top of mind for everybody, particularly in what's been happening in our environment is data management and data security, and that's one of the major things that you would have been looking at. A lot of people want to hear some of the ideas for going forward, particularly because human resources is that place where all of our most confidential information is stored. So you really have to be ahead of the curve and in step with what's happening across the rest of the world to ensure that HR practitioners and human resources offices in general are able to secure personal data.
Most definitely. So on day one, we even had a panel discussion. It had Davina Lane, it had Edward Millington, it had Stephen Williams, and we had Dr. Alison Hudson from United States. And it was balanced because two persons were IT or tech professionals and two were HR practitioners. And they spoke of, once again, in terms of bridging that divide. And to your point, how important data security is and data privacy is within this age, because we've seen not only on the world stage what has happened in Barbados in various public and private sector entities in terms of data leaks and that type of stuff. So it is very important in terms of businesses putting security measures in place to ensure that data is secure, especially bringing it back home, especially when it comes to HR data, because we in HR, we hold very important and very sensitive data, and that is not to minimize any of the other data that is within a business, because all of the data and information that a business has is important. But relative to HR, we store information in terms of people's health information, people's personal information. So we have to be very, very careful and very sensitive to how that information is stored, and just to ensure that that it is not leaked to the general public when it comes to people's personal and private details.
That's good to know. With the win of the many successes of this conference firmly in pocket, as you move forward as president of HERMAB for the rest of your tenure, what are you hoping to accomplish?
So next steps for us, post-mortem, I'm going to have a post-mortem with the team next week just to discuss where we think things went well, what we could have improved, because there's always room for improvement, and get ready for conference 2025. I don't think people understand, and I appreciate people that are event coordinators, the amount of effort that goes into planning an event of this size and this magnitude. We could not have done it without our sponsors, the attendees, of course the speakers that came out and gave their time and their expertise. So it's just a plan for conference 2025, also to look and see what is on the calendar of events for HERMAB for the remainder of the year into Q1, for the remainder of my presidency. So yeah, it's just like I said, to do a post-mortem to look and see what is next and what could have been done better.
I know that you extended the opportunity for people outside of the scope of human resources to be a part of it. Anything to note on final numbers based on initial expectation?
So like I said, the call is always going to be there for any person that is not in HR, and that is the reason that HERMAB will continue to do a segment with Mornin Barbados. And I always say thank you to you and the team for giving us this opportunity and giving us this platform. I know prior to when we started this segment about 2.5 years ago, people probably didn't know what HR was, and they had this idea of what it was. And I think hopefully we've somewhat shed a light on the importance of HR, and not only HR but good HR and human-centric HR. So that is what I hope we will continue in my tenure and post my tenure. And we will always put the information out there relative to whether it's labor relation matters that are going on within the country. By and large, we're always going to keep you up to date in terms of what is happening with tech, because it is here to stay. And we just want to bring the message about what human resources is to the general public of Barbados.
All right, President Nicholas Roberts, who is the current president of the Human Resources Management Association of Barbados. Congratulations once again on a highly successful conference and expo on human and tech and the intersection. At this stage, there will be many more discussions to be had as technology continues to grow, particularly in the area of AI. So thank you for sharing, and thanks from the entire CBC team as well for your partnership and for providing an opportunity for our people to be able to share in what you were presenting as a part of the conference as well.
Thank you. My team we genuinely appreciate the partnership. We really do.
All right. Great to hear from the president, and lots for us to think about, always leaving us with food for thought. Do stay with us. We have lots more coming up here on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back. It's 7:19. We've been saying it all morning. It is World Food Day, and that means a great deal. There's lots to be done, and we wanted to foster the start to a few relationships, because here in Morning Barbados, we most certainly won't be able to get through all of them. But we're joined now by Juan Sheaz, who is the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations representative here in Barbados. We often refer to them as the FAO. So good morning to you, and good to have you with us here on Morning Barbados.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
And he's been here in this position for 2.5 years, so you're well poised to be able to juxtaposition where you would have come in and the ideas that you would have for the organization and where you'd want to take it and where we are today. And we're also joined by Dr. Beverly Wood, who's Director of the Government Analytical Department. Good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning and good morning, Barbados.
Welcome to have, wonderful to have both of you here. On this World Food Day, of course, it's a day celebrated across the world on October 16th. And the theme for this year is Right to Foods for a Better Life and a Better Future. What does that mean in the context of everything that's happening across the world?
Every year, this is a global celebration where we as FAO, together with our partners, we try to bring to the fore our achievements, what we have done, but also reflect on what have been the challenges, what have we learned, and to propose the way forward. And this year, as you rightly say, is about, the right to foods. The major call this year is that it is high time to transform the right to foods into healthy, nutritious, and affordable diets, to transform those rights into a reality. That's the call that we're making to the world.
Absolutely. Accessibility is very important at all levels. Dr. Wood, talk to us about where the Government Analytical Department intersects with World Food Day and the work of organizations like the FAO.
Right. Well, Government Analytical Services, we are an analytical laboratory. We do analyses on food, water, and various other matrices. In terms of food safety, where you are talking about the safety of food, we look at some of the contaminants that could be present in food. We are now working with the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency, to strengthen our capacity in looking at components like pesticide residues and veterinary drugs. And we also are working with the FAO in terms of looking at the strength of our food safety systems. This is a collaborative effort between the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Commerce, and the Fisheries Department, looking at our food safety legislation, looking at the systems that deal with food safety. In terms of the nutrition component of it, we analyze at Government Analytical Services the nutrition components of food. If you are having a food product that you're putting on the market, you have to have a label. What is the percentage carbohydrate? What is the amount of protein? What is the amount of fat? Those are some of the things that persons will bring their products to us to have analyzed, and from that they use the information we provide to generate a label, which then goes on the product and to go on the shelf.
And that, of course, is in getting products ready for the international space as well, to make sure they might be certified to maybe ISO standards and things of that nature, which is very, very important.
Right. Because the Barbados National Standards Institution, they would have a labeling standard, and therefore persons have to comply with that standard as well. So therefore that's where the demand or the need for persons to have a label, and then that label feeds into Codex Alimentarius, which is a FAO entity which looks at standards and so for food. So therefore that's the role that we play. And in the areas where I spoke about the legislation, we're looking to have, Barbados is looking to have a new food safety bill, food safety and quality bill, and again that's with the assistance of the FAO. FAO has a new tool which is out to assess your food safety systems. It's not only the legislation, but what you do from farm to fork to ensure that the product that is on the market is safe. And there we are using that tool along with the FAO under a technical cooperation program to see where the weaknesses or the challenges that we face and how best then we can improve that.
All right, how is the conversation, Mr. Shears, different in the Caribbean context or Latin America and the Caribbean context as compared with the rest of the world when we talk about food security on this World Food Day?
I think Caribbean can be seen as an example, you know, in terms of how that conversation is going. Perhaps triggered by the post-COVID effects, but mostly by the willingness of the community to, you know, to put a drive into the food and nutritional agenda of the region has helped, you know, put in place enabling environment to achieve, you know, these very complex tasks across the Caribbean. It's not about one island, it's not only about Barbados, but it's how the community together addresses. And like you correctly said, it goes beyond Caribbean, but into Latin America. Very recently, you might have heard that in March in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the heads of state signed up on the food and nutritional security for the CELAC, which is the Economic Community of Latin America and the Caribbean countries. And that provides a framework, you know, for cooperation in terms of resource mobilization, of exchanging of capacities, of trade. Likewise, you would have heard that at the regional level, the CARICOM community is driving the 25 by 2025 initiative, whereby, you know, the intention is to reduce the amount of food imports, you know, by 25%. And so on, you know, OECS, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, they have their FAST strategy. So we see a number of, you know, institutions across the region that are, you know, putting forward the conditions for many of these programs to thrive, you know, to move ahead. And Barbados has been playing a key role through a strategic initiative also, reflected in the activities of collaboration being promoted with Africa on access to finance, on exchange of resources and capacities with Guyana, with Suriname. So there's a very good momentum, I would say, and a unique momentum to positioning this agenda to achieve the goals of having zero hunger and malnutrition in the region.
And as we get a little more parochial and bring it back home to Barbados, Dr. Wood, based on the work that the Government Analytical Department is doing, would you say that that is helping to tie into the work being done in the area of combating non-communicable diseases and the like, and of course that drive toward octagonal warning labels and beefing up the way that we're, no pun intended, that we're able to conduct business generally, share that necessary information with the general public.
Right. So therefore, then our work then allows, with respect, you would have heard about reducing the amount of sugar in food, and I find that a lot of businesses are now trying to amend their product so that it makes it taste the same way, but yet still comply with the nutritional requirements. And therefore, a lot of persons are coming to us to ask us to analyze as they work along to change the ingredient concentrations to be able to help them to determine what is present. So that is one of the areas we work on. We also have been working with the Barbados National Standards on the committee, which is looking at the labeling, the new labeling standards. That is an area that we have been working on. And we are also working with the CAFSA, which is the Caribbean Agriculture, Health and Food Safety Agency, which has a mandate of harmonizing legislation and so among member states of CARICOM to ensure that food is available and ready for trade. And recently in Suriname, a few weeks ago, we had the Caribbean Task Force on Food Safety. And that is an entity which would draw persons from each of the member states looking to see how our food safety standards and so can be addressed. It is also looking to bring the laboratories in the region together, because as individual states, we have our own laboratories. We sometimes don't know what each other is doing. So through a regional grouping, we are hoping then that we could be able to see what the various labs are doing, how we can how they can be strengthened, whether there's centers of excellence within the region. That is a conversation now that is taking place among laboratories as well.
And speaking of those conversations, are there any particular areas, Mr. Shears, that you say we really need to hone in on in short order here in the Caribbean to be able to move closer toward achieving necessary goals? I know you mentioned the 25 by 2025. We've been hearing a lot, certainly here in the media, about not necessarily being able to meet the target. Same with the Sustainable Development Goals, which are in place to 2030. So what would you say maybe is or are particular areas of interest that we must get on immediately to be able to advance these causes?
Yes, thank you for your question. The fact still remains, I mean, despite the positive environment, the fact is that globally we still have 730 million people that are suffering from hunger. We also have 2.8 billion people that are suffering from malnutrition. And of those people that are hungry in the world, 43.2% are in Latin America and the Caribbean. So the task ahead is very big, and there are many actions that need to be taken across, the spectrum of, let's say, of the agricultural and food value chain. This type of work that Dr. Woody is alluding to is very relevant because it shows how, different agencies come together to play their role. You see how the Ministry of Health working together with the Ministry of Agriculture, working with the analytical services, but there are many others, that come into play. If I were to choose, I would choose, for the future, and the future is the youth. I think that we need, because of the generational issue in our sector, we have to promote, the food and the agribusiness sector as opportunities, for youth, and transmit the message that agriculture is not about going into the field and plowing the land, but about promoting and using new technologies. And the youth are very well poised to using, for example, artificial intelligence, digital tools to do that and to engage. We are working with the government currently in developing a number of digital solutions to address the issue of efficiency in production, such as apps to identify, pests and diseases, apps to analyze soils and to use the right types of fertilizers, and also for soil scanning using drones. These kind of technologies reduce labor costs and bring efficiency, into this whole effort. And that's very important to make progress, considering, the scarcity of resources and the challenges that we have also with labor force.
And in this part of the world, we have our unique challenges with climate as well. And I know that ties into that heavily. So a great World Food Day message. And from you, Director Wood, what would be your message based on the work that you do and how you're able to move businesses in that particular area forward? What would be your World Food Day message for Barbadians?
Well, I think that all of us play a role in terms of the safety of our food. Whether you're a manufacturer or whether you're a consumer, you have to be careful of what you do. In terms of consumers, as you go to the supermarket, some of us buy our meats and then we stop on the road before we get home to put it back in the fridge. So those are some of the things that we need to do. In terms of consumers too, read your labels, see what to ensure that you play a role in the reducing the LCDs, and also too for manufacturers, make use of our laboratory facilities to be able to ensure that your product meets the required standard.
Well, thank you both for the work that you do, and this is work they do every day. Today we're acknowledging World Food Day, but I think it's important for us to acknowledge the importance of food every day because that's how we live. And remember this, the theme for this year is Right to Foods for a Better Life and a Better Future. And of course that is that is something that we have to think about with the knowledge that this is a right for people to be able to access healthy food and health as a result of getting healthy food as well. Thank you both for sharing with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
And happy World Food Day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, time for another break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Enjoy a game.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
As the conversation continues, we're happy to have Sarah Bailey with us. She's head of Program World Food Program at the Caribbean Multi-Country Office. Quite a mouthful. Great to have you with us on this World Food Day. And I know one of the particular areas of interest to you is the importance of food security as we look toward, as we mentioned in the last segment, the 25 by 2025 goals, and then, of course, the Sustainable Development Goals. Where are we with food security here in Barbados, the rest of the region?
Yeah, thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be here. This question of food security is so important to discuss on World Food Day, and that's really about how people have access to food at all times and healthy foods. And when we look at those trends in the Caribbean, well, we have a bit of positive news, but we have some concerning issues that I think people are aware of on a day-to-day basis when they go to the supermarket, when they see prices. And what we're seeing is that over time, those impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic that affected jobs, that affected the economy, really affected food insecurity. And then also when we had increases in global prices, which were really reflected on the prices that people were paying on a day-to-day basis for food, that compounded this. So while we're seeing a bit improvements on those trends over time, generally the news is concerning, and we need to look at how we can really improve food security because those shocks of global food prices, COVID-19 really reset that baseline in a way that was negative for many people across the Caribbean.
How's the World Food Program working along with governments and other agencies to be able to make a shift or at least be able to turn the tide on this?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We're working on it in a few ways. Data is one of them. If we're not aware of the data and the trends, it makes it harder to have those evidence-based policies to be able to tackle that. And what are we finding from data is that, well, a lot of those factors are related to how people are able to access food, how they can afford it, especially for people who are already living in poverty, maybe have low income, are facing other vulnerabilities. So that really points to the fact that we need those interventions and those efforts towards stronger safety nets, towards promoting resilience, and that can be in so many different ways. It can be even how linking school meals programs to local agriculture so that children have healthy foods in the school, and also how local producers are able to sell in those markets. So the opportunities for resilience are so many. It's also about how women, and as was mentioned before, youth can get more involved in agriculture, and generally how we're looking at agriculture through a lens of positivity about the importance of it towards the economies locally, but also regionally here in the Caribbean.
With a lot of multinational organizations and maybe the larger organizations that operate across the globe, it's difficult sometimes for people at the country level to be able to see how the work you do trickles down to their benefit. So let's kind of hone in a little bit on the efforts that you're making to be able to have regular Barbadians see a difference in these challenges that we're experiencing in costs and the challenges of climate and weather coming out of COVID and the like.
Yeah, that's a really important question. When we look at what drives increases in food security or insecurity, it's these shocks. It's when there is something major that really just affects well-being across the board. And when we saw with COVID-19, and then also combined with the food price rises, we worked really closely with the Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs to actually be able to provide some food assistance when we saw that strong increase. Also, because when we look at climate change, unfortunately, the reality is the increasing frequency of severe disasters. And Beryl was such a reminder of what can happen and what does happen. And within that, we're also responding to Beryl in multiple countries here in the Caribbean to be able to support local farmers who were impacted, fishers who were impacted, and also everyday people, because access to food means you need to be able to have money to purchase food. And when we look at what's occurred over time is that even when people are, making those purchases locally, they're making compromises. So in the data that we collected with CARICOM, 50% of people were reducing expenditures in other areas. So that might be related to education, that might be related to health. And 70% were actually tapping into their savings to be able to purchase food. And so being able to work on these longer term issues is such an important element, but also from the World Food Program and with our partners such as FAO, who was on the previous segment, being there when these shocks occur, to be able to work with governments and other partners to basically provide that support and make sure that there's that safety net when the situations worsen.
If there's one lesson that we learned from COVID, it is how tiny the world is. And basic things like disruptions to the global supply chain can really affect small regions like we have here in the Caribbean. On this World Food Day, it's important for us to also reflect on what's happening in other parts of the world that can impact our citizens being able to access that basic human right of being able to access healthy food, being able to access food generally. So based on what's happening, there are conflicts all across the globe and different challenges that could tie into that. What's some of the work that the World Food Program on the global scale is undertaking to ensure the security that we continue to pursue?
Yeah, well, generally, as you mentioned, there are so many challenges and even crises globally that affect people in those locations and also have impacts in other areas of the world. And we've seen this most markedly in the issue of global prices that have been driven by conflict. And I think the role of the WFP is first and foremost, it's so that vulnerable people who are caught up in those situations get the support that they need. At those times, being able to support what we call it the saving lives and also changing lives agenda is really at the heart of our work, especially for those who are most vulnerable to the impacts. And at the same time, it's working on those issues of food systems, supply chains, and how we can have the movement of food on both within a region, but also working at a national level to be able to connect producers to markets and being able to strengthen that process. We often describe a food system as really about how it goes from production all the way through to transformation, to the trade, and how people can then access it. And being able to tackle those various elements of that chain, including the trade element, involves so many partners. So for us, a strong message is about also the issue of partnership, working with our sister agencies like FAO, with CARICOM, and also supported by our development partners to be able to tackle the various elements of food systems, because the point that you're making is this is a complex issue. And if we need to be able to work at all levels of those food systems to enhance resilience, both from how food is produced, how it reaches people across markets, and then how people are able to purchase it and are able to afford purchasing it, especially in a region where here we have such a high cost of a healthy diet.
Your message for Barbadians and everybody else who's viewing us on this World Food Day, coming from the World Food Program Office.
It's that we can all make a difference when it comes to food security and food systems. And that can just mean on a day like today, engaging in discussions about the importance of World Food Day and about food security. It can be about purchasing locally, being able to purchase some of those healthy products that are here in Barbados and in other countries. And yes, it can also be about engaging in these larger policy issues, but it's really that we can all make a difference. We need to find our entry point and recognize that food security is about all of us.
I love it. Make sure that we find our own entry point, and that's very, very important. Sarah Bailey is head of the World Food Program Caribbean Multi-Country Office. Thanks for making time to come in and share with us. Happy World Food Day.
Thank you so much.
All right. It's time for another break. The time is quickly going by. Obviously, we head up to the 8 o'clock hour, but stay with us. Coming up, we are talking more about food security, a very interesting product that a Barbadian is working on, mushrooms. We're going to share that next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game with Dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well,
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I don't know about you, but this is my first time hearing about a mycologist. So we have a mycologist joining us now. This is Darren Springer, who's co-founder of MycoBIM. As I mentioned, he's an educator, a horticulturalist, and a mycologist. So wonderful to have you with us on this World Food Day. And of course, the mycology is the study of mushrooms and
fungi.
Yeah. Tell me how you got into that particular area.
Well, ironically, it was my first trip to Barbados, which was like just over 20 plus years ago, coming back to see my family. And I come to the understanding that I come from a family of farmers, the community were farmers. So I went back to study horticulture in the UK and food growing. And my two favorite subject areas were composting and soil science. And I found out the magic behind composting and soil science was this thing called mycelium. And mycelium is the fungal network. It's actually what's within the soil that brings and connects all the plants and provides all the plants and trees and everything that comes out of the soil their nutrients. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing. It's like the internet of the soil. So that piqued my interest, and then I started to find out more and more things about fungi that just kind of blew my mind, and I invested a lot of time and effort and energy in getting into it.
And here we are, one day post the official international celebration of the International Day for the Observance of Mushrooms.
That's right.
Yes, and here you are, sharing with us a new move toward building a mushroom community initiative that's focused on addressing some of the challenges in food security, which is, top of the table when we talk about World Food Day and what we need to do to be self-sufficient. Yeah.
So, for what's really important with microbiome primarily is education. For the most part, mushrooms get a bad rap. Most people don't know what mushrooms are. They say they don't like the taste of them and all the rest of it. They're poisonous, they're toxic. And what we've gathered is that the most important point is education. So we're about teaching people what mushrooms are. Then once you find out what mushrooms actually are, that they're the soil creators, they sustain the soil, they provide all the nutrients that us as human beings are going to require when we want to eat healthy food, then you find out that mushrooms are actually one of the key food alternatives. I wouldn't even actually say alternatives, primary food sources that we could be eating for food security, our own security, in making sure that we get fiber, our B vitamins, it's actually able to capture vitamin E. There's a long list of basically, nutritious foods, nutrients that mushrooms are able to capture, store, and pass on, not just for humans, but for the soil too. So there's a thing called bioremediation. Then you realize that through mushrooms, it actually fertilizes the soil and everything that's connected to the soil and comes out of the soil. So it's like really important fundamentally.
Certainly some great education there. What do you do at microbiome?
So microbiome, we're just trying to make this a really fun, interesting experience for folks. So like, what are mushrooms? How are you going to grow mushrooms? Like, you can grow mushrooms on waste material, things that end up in the landfill, in the rubbish and the trash that is detrimental to the soil again. You can actually take those, preserve them, and actually cultivate mushrooms on it. Things like straw, farmyard manure, sugarcane waste, coconut waste. These are all substrates or foods that the mushrooms could eat to actually then produce new food, healthy food for us to eat.
Are you growing mushrooms to add to consumption, or what people are able to use, or are you just sharing the information on what mushrooms can do to bolster health of the soil and people equally?
Yeah, all the above. So, we start with the education and how you can grow mushrooms on your shelf, in your kitchen. You can, if you've got a shed, you can upscale. And obviously the goal for us is to build a mycological community where there's already growers on the island. We're aware of people that are doing stuff on the island, amazing work. So we want to bring together those resources, cultivate a mycological society that will enable us not to only grow food as individuals, but actually make the region a hub. We could actually have the opportunity to pioneer some interesting, things happening in the area already, and actually launch not only just for eating for us, but the region, and solidify us in in this place and space.
In our short relationship, you've already talked about 3 major ways that you believe mushrooms can help us in our communities. You mentioned environmental sustainability in the way that you're able to grow them, waste management, as well as food security. Are there any other ways that we're missing out on mushrooms and all they can do?
Yeah, there's a long, endless list. There's actually a book out there called How Mushrooms Can Help Save the World, and everything from, cleaning up polluted soils, replenishing, polluted waters, regreening desert areas. We're aware that there's preventative health challenges that mushrooms produce, cancer preventative. They can support mitigating diabetes. There's a long list of, what mushrooms bring to the table. So we're just raising awareness, bringing, that knowledge and information to the region, and hopefully inspiring people to find their place. So if you're just coming from, I just want to make sure that I've got healthy food to eat, there's a place and space for you. If you're coming from the science perspective and you're like, we're trying to help replenish the soil and looking at, building new habitats, there's a bee decline, butterfly decline. Mushrooms can support creating habitats so that we can increase like the insect population. So there's a long list of what mushrooms bring to the table or encouraging.
What about the services you offer through microbiome? How can we access these services from you?
So one, you can check out the website, michaelbim.com, and over the coming days, we've got a series of events that will be covering mushroom cultivation, how to cook with mushrooms, how to create mushroom powders, put them in your smoothies, you name it. And then next month, we've got a series of events that we're doing in collaboration with Walker's Reserves. We've got these night walks that are taking place where we're going to be looking at mushrooms that glow in the dark, you know, so fun activities for families. We've got Andromeda Botanic Gardens. We're doing some stuff with them later on next month as well, looking at how we can cultivate mushrooms as well. So we're just making it sure that people in the community are aware what we're doing and can get access.
And as far as the services that you offer are concerned, let's list them off. So you mentioned that you're able to come in and show people how they can create a more sustainable environment, maybe use what they already have to start on this journey of growing mushrooms. So let's start there. How are we able, do we go to Michael Bim, or, you know, is there another way for us to contact you to jump on this opportunity?
The easiest way is to go online, michaelbim.com, michaelbim.com. That's your way in. You're going to go to the event section. There's going to be a long list and dates of events taking place. You click that link, and if not, you can find the email address there, phone numbers, and get access. And then we can send you out the pack with all the list of information for you to get access.
On an individual level, or are you looking at targeting communities generally, or businesses?
Communities and businesses, you know. So I'm coming from the UK, and originally we've actually developed a curriculum for schools that we're developing, what we've been delivering in the UK, which we hope to develop here on the island. So we want to start grassroots and then build our way up and inspire those young minds, and then change that narrative from mushrooms being something that you shouldn't touch, you shouldn't be aware of, and empowering people so they actually know what mushrooms are and take it to the next level.
I'm glad that you mentioned changing that narrative, because when I was little, we used to call them duppy parasols.
Well, there we go. I'm fully aware of that.
Did anybody tell you that?
Oh, most definitely. I've grown up around the community and hearing that my whole life. So yeah, man, we want to change that narrative to understanding what actually are mushrooms and what do they bring to the table, and then actually bring a better balance into place.
Talk to me about what Michael Bim has been able to accomplish thus far in terms of you sharing your passion for what you do with Barbadian community.
So we've delivered a series of grassroots events everywhere from our landmark space in St. James. We've been doing some stuff at the YMCA, and as I said, we've got some forthcoming activities that I'm really excited about. There's not been much studies on mushrooms, native mushrooms in Barbados since 1945. So what we're about to be doing in November, we're bringing over a team of experts to start doing some studying of the land from top to bottom, you know, and exploring what's going on. So we really want to engage the community to come out. Anybody that's been interested or would like to find and become more interested in mushrooms, you can then sign up for these activities, and that's really where we're at the moment.
These are things that I probably have never thought about when you talk about native mushrooms. So what types of mushrooms are you growing, or are you pushing at this point in time that maybe work well in the Barbadian context based on the makeup of the soil?
Oh man, yeah, I was really excited. The last time I was here 3 months ago, I actually went out foraging with an expert, and we was able to identify a mushroom called red reishi. That's a mushroom that's native to this region. It's an amazing mushroom. Culturally, in China, they refer to it as the mushroom of immortality. And
the mushroom of immortality.
You got it, yeah.
Growing right here, native to this region.
There you go, you got it.
Wow.
And this mushroom is really good for anybody that's challenged with, you know, it's like cancer preventative. It builds up the immune system. It's good for anybody who's challenged by sleep deprivation, fatigue. Again, a long list of what it brings to the table. And this is grown on everybody's doorstep. And for the most part, because most people are not aware of what these mushrooms are, what they look like, you would just walk past it, step over it, and keep it moving. But that's why we feel our work is really important, just to bring the education. What are mushrooms? What do they look like? Obviously, it's not about you, because there are some dangerous mushrooms out there, and the whole idea is that there are actually more deadly plants than there are mushrooms out there, but we don't have the same narrative around plants. It's because we're educated about this stuff. So again, right at the ground, it's all about education.
Now, there's an activity happening today, and as you mentioned, there are a few more, so let's go through them. You speak a little quickly. I know that's what we say about Barbadians. You go a little quickly, but if we can go through the actual events so that people can, you know, get a whiff of what they can do to be able to kind of hone in on all you're offering.
So this evening we have an event.
You don't have to speak slowly, but yeah.
But we have an event called A Personal Approach to Healing with Mushrooms. So that's like really introductory to what mushrooms are and what health benefits do they bring to the table as far as humans and the soil. And then following on from that, 2 days we have back-to-back mushroom cultivation, that's taking place all in St. James. So that's an entry, beginner's level, and then some more advanced approaches to mushroom cultivation. And then on Saturday, we've got a mushroom cooking workshop. Okay. And then on the Monday, we have mushrooms making tonics, juices. So there's a whole program of activities lined up. So
I am definitely intrigued. What's the cost to being able to access these services?
The cost is $50 Bajan entry point. And I always say, coming from where I come from, you know, like I wouldn't want finances to be a barrier. So if you're really curious and interested, like just reach out, and like I'm sure there's a way that we can make sure you get access to this.
And again, that's through MichaelBim?
MichaelBim.com.
No numbers to call?
All the information's on the website. I don't know the local number off the top of my head.
All right, so you're definitely going to michaelbim.com to be able to find out a little bit more. You've partnered with several key organizations here on island, Walker's Reserve, as you mentioned, Peg Farm, Andromeda Botanic Gardens. You know, what are some of the areas that you're working with these organizations to help combat food security as we look at it on this day and reflect on, you know, the 25 by 2025 goal and things of that nature to ensure that we shore up our food?
Sure. Well, you know, you've mentioned Peg Farm. We're working with Cocoa Hill Forest. These, you know, organizations have got access to like hundreds of acres of land. And Cocoa Hill, for example, take about all of this coconut waste. You know, they're producing coconuts, and we're working in collaboration with them to develop substrates. So this is, as I mentioned, food that the mushrooms will eat. It will decompose, which will provide compost that will then feed the soil again. And then from that, we can also cultivate mushrooms from that. So these are some of the collaborative efforts that we're looking into and seeing how we can work and join forces.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. There's a mushroom on your shirt.
There is.
And, you know, there's a spaceship on a mushroom, and there are people swimming around. You really love mushrooms, don't you?
I am a mushroom.
I heard you talking about mushroom smoothies and mushrooms for eating. You know, what do you think would be one of the most surprising ways that you can use mushrooms?
There's an endless list, but the main thing is that, you know, for most people, it's like that get up and go. So there's a mushrooms called cordyceps. They're well known for giving people energy, you know, all different types of energy for all different types of points in the day. But what's interesting about them, they're actually a parasitic fungi. So they actually use insects as a host. So they actually take over the minds of the insects, and the insects then climb up to the highest point, and then mushrooms actually grow out of their head. Yeah, and then produce the spores. So it's like they take over the minds of these insects and actually distribute the spores. But with that said, the mushrooms that are produced are really good for, you know, regulating the human, you know, energy levels. So there's like some interesting stuff.
The last time that we see you, and the first thing I asked you is if you brought some. So next time around, we have to make sure that we see some of these. But we're encouraging you to come on out and be a part of all of the activities coming up. Of course, go to michaelbim.com to find out more. We're going to take a break and come back and wrap today's program, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So that's it from us for today. Coming up tomorrow, we're talking breast health as we continue that series throughout this month of October. That, of course, comes into focus. Plus, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, they'll be in to tell us about something called the I Am Conference. Happy World Food Day, in the words of the late Carmita Fraser. Put good food first. I included the food. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. We're going to continue our mushroom discussion, and you have a discussion on this World Food Day as well. Have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.